Hello, welcome down onto the tech desk, and in today's video we're going to be looking at this. So this is a portable 1080p monitor and it's from G-Stopry. Now, I've done a few things from G-Stopry. I'm always impressed by the quality. Now, the best thing I've had from them is a flip-up PS5 monitor. I'll leave links down below where you can go and have a look at that. But this one, it doesn't attach to anything. This is kind of portable, so you can attach it to anything you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly unbox it, just to show you what you kind of get in it. Then I'm just going to go over the monitor itself, and then we'll just end up with a bit of like a gallery so you can go and see the quality of the monitor, because I'm really impressed with this. Okay, so on the front, G-Stopry portable monitor, nice and clean, and they're very clean on the back. The most important thing is down here. If I get you show you this is the model GSQ56FD. Okay, so there's quite a few models that they do. I think there's 4 or 5 different models of this monitor that they do, and this is the one I've got because I wanted to show you the specification, and I'll show you that later. So anyway, let's crack in the box. What you do is a couple of things I wanted to note in here before we look at the monitor itself. You get a nice microfiber cloth, great, I'll keep that out. And the thing with G-Stopry is they've always supplied really good quality cables. Okay, so this is the USB Type-C cable, C to C. It's brilliant. It's a lovely thick cable, really good quality. You also get a normal HDMI to mini HDMI, which I've got plugged into my switch here for the purposes of testing later. So you get that cable. You get a really good quality A to C USB. Don't be using that. You get yourself an instruction manual of where I'm going to show you the specifications on later. You get a couple of bits of card that you can fill in if you like. Now here's the thing. So if you're in the UK, you're going to get the bum end of the deal here. So in the US, great, you get yourself a block there that charges, you can use for power. Sorry, it doesn't charge it up, it uses for power, USB, that's fantastic. If you're in the UK, you get this little bit here, which is a bit of a pain because you're sticking that in there. Look at the size of that. That's too big, really. So if you've got yourself another charger, use that. I've been using that. I haven't been using this for obvious reasons. It's just too big for me, sticking out of the wall. I mean, look at that. That's a good 10-15 centimeters from the wall. That's too big. So that's a bit of a shame. But if you're in the US, don't worry about it. Right, so let's get the stuff. I'm going to need that later. That's going to show you that later. And I'll just keep the microfiber cloth out just to clean it if I ever need to. And then here is the monitor itself. Okay, so it's on this flap design. You've probably seen them. They are all over Amazon, and it kind of does this. So it sits out and it can do at angles. There are ridges here, so there's kind of one there and kind of one there, but really it can go at any angle you like, and it does stay there because of this. It's almost like tacky, this bit here, so the bottom of the monitor will stick on there. Okay, so it's got a nice overall leather. It doesn't come off. There are, however, some bits under here which I haven't been brave enough to take off yet, so I assume that you can take off these two and it comes off, but I've never felt the need to do that. And this is kind of like your rubbery, leathery, pleathery feel type case with the G-Stopry logo. Nice and subtle on there, not too bad. I'll give you the size of it as well. So while we're here, it is 35.5 centimeters by 22 centimeters with the case on, and then with the case on as well, with the width, it is around 14 millimeters, okay, just under 14 millimeters thick. And I haven't weighed it, although they say it's just under a kilogram heavy, so it is pretty portable. And then in you go into the screen, you're looking around 34.5 centimeters by 19.5, and on the diagonal, just under 40 centimeters. Now what I'll do now is I won't bore you by going through all the specification, because you can find that out on the internet and you'll find that on here. But what I'll do is I will take this specification here and I will stick it up there for you to see. Okay, so if you want to do that, pause the video now. You can have a look at the specification of this one. Remember, this is the GSQ56FD. So pause the video if you want to go and have a look at more of that. So there we go, specification done. Now we're going to have a look at other bits as well. So it's got a lovely curve on the top. I think that's really nice. Gives it a nice look when it's stood up, and the same down the bottom as well, with straight edges on either side. And on either side, if you look on the left hand side, what we've got here is we've got a speaker, which I'll talk about in a bit. Then we have a menu, so a menu button, and then up and down. Get that effect there. Menu up and a down. Okay, these also count as shortcuts as well. So if you press this one, you go to the menu, and then you go up and down the menu, obviously. If you press the up, it gets to the mode change, which I'll talk about in a bit. And if you press the down first, it will go to the volume. And then spinning over on the other side, we have the mini HDMI there. We have this, which is USB Type-C, but this is just for plugging something in that can run via power, and that one is just power, okay? So if you just need to power it. Now with the switch, we're going to be using HDMI, so we're going to plug that in. You also need power, so you will also need to plug in something like that. So if you're going to be using the switch with HDMI, you're going to need 2 cables. And then again, at the top there, we've got another speaker. So as I said, what we're going to do is going to get up to the switch. I've got my switch here with the HDMI cable, mini HDMI, that comes with the system. I've got this here. You're going to make this a lot neater than me, okay? I'm just going to have to kind of almost fudge this into there, into the HDMI, kind of hide the cables a little bit. And as I said, you're going to need to power this if you're using HDMI. So I've got myself a USB Type-C over here, and that's just some power. That's just plugged into the wall. It's nothing exciting. This is just a random USB Type-C I got with another product. And then I'm going to plug that into the power one up there. And then if you look on here, there's an RGB over here. There, and that's green. That shows it's on. If it was red, it would be off, obviously. So we know that it's on. And my switch, I need to turn my switch on, okay, which I've done. Now the switch is on, so we're just going to be waiting for this to fire up. There we go, and we're up and running. Okay, again, I apologise about all the cables. It's terrible, but if you're going to have this, you're going to make this a lot neater than I am. So if you go and have a look online for these, you can see that they actually do other versions as well. They do touchscreen versions, which would have been nice. This isn't the touchscreen one, okay? But yeah, they do touchscreen versions. So if you're going to be using it on a PC, that would be really nice to be able to do, but that isn't this. So as we saw in the specification, 1080p, 60 Hertz, which is good enough for the Switch. And I'll say that's good enough for the Steam Deck as well. With the Steam Deck, I kind of find 40 frames a second is the sweet spot to get graphics and frames per second as well. So 60 is good enough. I'm just going to show you some bits about the menu, what I like on here, and then I'll just show you some gameplay of this. So as we said, remember what we said over here is the menu. So you're going to pop that, and then you've got this menu system. This is brilliant because it's exactly the same as every other G-Stopry monitor that I've looked at. So I know my way around this without actually doing anything. You don't really need to know much apart from, because it's all self-explanatory. Apart from this, we have a mode here. So you can go into the mode, you have a standard fighting, FPS 1, FPS 2, and RTS. If you ping to one of them, and then you ping, and then you change some settings. So if I go into FPS 1, I change the brightness, contrast and stuff. And then what I do is go back into standard. If I then go back into FPS 1 again, it would have stayed. So fighting, FPS 1, FPS 2, RTS are all stock kind of presets, and they don't change. So you can change them, but they'll ping back to default if you go back to them. Does that make sense? If you want to make changes for it to be stuck, stick it on standard. The only issue I do have is the volume of this particular thing. So if I look here, I've got the volume set to 100. Okay, so let's go into let's go into Mario Kart, because that's nice and loud. So if I go into Mario Kart, I'll go to the menu of Mario Kart because there's some music that plays in here. As I said before, if you press the down button on here, you get the volume. That's your lot. That's as loud as it goes, I'm afraid. I mean, I'm on 21 and I can't hear that. 40 I can. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So that's 100. I'll cut the music, the background music, just so you can have a listen to it, see what you think. I mean, it's, what, 40 centimetres away from the mic. So that's not great. Thing is, physics, they are tiny little speakers, so I guess if it was going to be louder, it might get distorted a little bit, because they are going to be tiny little speakers in here, so I don't think there's much else you can do that. But I'm just saying, if you did want something with good, powerful speakers, you're not going to have that, and you haven't got the option to stick 3.5mm in anywhere, so it'd need to be from here, from your Switch, or from your Steam Deck, or something like that. You wouldn't be able to get it directly from the monitor. Okay, there we have. Then that was a look at this. We did some close-ups there, and you'll see some lines. You don't get that when you're looking at it with the naked eye. It's because I was filming it, but I hope the quality comes through. It's nice and sharp. Hardly any lag at all, what we saw with the specification with the input time. So it's a really good looking monitor. The only issue is with the speakers, but there's workarounds for that. So if you did want a separate monitor for the Switch or for the Steam Deck or for just your PC, just to be plugging in here with HDMI, you can't go wrong with this because I think the quality is superb. Okay, then do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Please do like, please do subscribe, and until the next video, bye bye.